Yeah, there's no like form to this, right? It just like, or is there like, I forgot.
It's formless.
Formless.
It's formless.
Like little amoebas we are.
Exactly. We are like two little amoebas swimming into your podcast ears right now.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Think someone's like on their way to work right now, stuck in traffic, miserable, and then they're like, yes, new Jeremiah Wonders.
I hope for part of that. I hope that they're not miserable, but I hope that they're like, yes. They might be at the gym. They might be sweating.
It's so weird when people work out to a podcast. Have you ever done that?
I've listened to people's specials when I went on a hike once. You know what I mean? Like I popped it in and I was like, I'm on a hike. I was like, okay, yeah. It was like a buddy's special that I needed to check out.
But that's like low impact. But like people like lifting weights, especially you're on the bench press and then you're in the middle of pushing it out and then someone says something funny on a podcast, you start laughing and then it just like drops that, like I need to listen to hardcore metal music.
Tantric sex.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I need to listen to.
Classic. Just moaning and breathing. Yeah. You got it.
Yeah, you got it.
That'd be funny if you listen to just encouragement in my ears, just to have somebody being like, you're doing good. You're very good. People love you.
I mean, there's definitely those people who listen to those tapes, those self-help tapes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Would you ever be a type of person to do that, to turn on one of those? I would feel so self-conscious if it was a dedicated self-help thing. So I like to put out good vibes and positivity on different podcasts and stuff like that. But I'm hoping that it's slightly more organic because it's not the focal point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm putting in a tape like, I need this. Like that, to me, I would feel very self-conscious. I'd start getting inside my head like, do I really need this that bad?
Yeah. And also, it would, by just the proxy of having to put that on to make myself feel better, would make me feel sad. Like it would have to raise me up so much to offset how much it's going to bring me down, the fact that I even need it to begin with.
Yeah, the beginning of the tape would have to be for me like, all right, don't be inside your head. Yeah. It's okay that you're listening to this tape right now. Don't worry about it.
The first 3 minutes are just being like, listen, sometimes everybody needs this. It's not a big deal.
You're not the only one who needs this tape right now.
Don't feel self-conscious.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe that's what we should record, dude. We should record our own.
Okay,
let's do that.
Let's do a little something right there.
Let's go, buddy.
We'll do a little something.
You gotta have a sexy voice, so I'm gonna do this.
Gotta have at least a little bit of reverb in there. And for you,
I'm going deep.
Oh,
that's good.
Nice.
Don't worry about it. Everybody needs help.
All of us are helpless at different times in our lives. And right now, that person is you. Focus on the sound of our voice and realize that things are only going to improve throughout your day.
And if you're looking around the gym wondering, do people know I'm listening to a self-help tape right now? You're goddamn right they do. But that's okay, because you're a good guy. And people love you.
They could tell by the perfectly matched tracksuit that you're wearing that you mentally need a little bit of help right now.
Also, if I had to take a guess, I would assume you're crying a little bit, and that's fine too.
Now, normally, these self-help tapes are not tag-teamed by two voices.
Of completely different tone and inflection.
Completely different timbres, completely different softness and harshness. But just know that you are loved. You will lift the weight above you, just like that guy from back in the day who had the world and the rock, who rolled it up the... Who was his name? It wasn't Icarus, was it?
He flew too close to the sun, baby. It got too hot.
This is a self-help tape of a couple morons who don't know historical references.
We didn't do enough research before launching into this.
They did not give us a script in the booth. They just said, go.
Yeah, we have to fill up another 4 hours of this.
So just realize that we're with you every step of the way.
Good for you.
I feel like everything should end with that, with a nice "good for you," you know?
Yeah.
Whoops.
It's always a fun, dude. Yeah, these things are the best. I just want that in my daily life, just an effect changer.
They're a mood improver for me. Like these things, they make me feel like a kid every single time. It's hard not to.
On my Twitch stream, I have like a little soundboard kind of a thing too that I can change it, and I'll constantly be playing. We play Call of Duty, and I'll put on like a baby voice. And then so when I beat them, first I go like, "Oh, are you babies crying?" And then they're like, "Shut up, dude." And then I change to the baby voice and start talking to them as a baby, and it's very fun.
Bet people get so mad.
Oh yeah, because calling someone a baby it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite insult because it's so clean and it's so innocuous, but it's so hurtful. It hurts everybody, no matter what like age you are. If you call an 11-year-old a baby, if you call a 40-year-old a baby, they're like, "I'm not a fucking baby." Like people get so mad.
I didn't realize how bad of an insult it was until I had a baby. And then I'm like, the reason why the baby is an insult when you're saying that to somebody, when you have a baby, there's times where there is no reasoning. There's no logic.
Yeah.
So like literally you're like, "What do you want?" And they're just crying. You know what I mean? So like you're literally like, I want to improve, but we just can't communicate right now.
Help. Yeah,
let me help you. So like when you're like, when you call somebody a baby, you're being like, you can't reason. You have no logic.
Yeah. You just sit there and cry.
Yep.
Like the little baby you
right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very fun, dude. People go crazy. And then it's even funnier because those are the people who will like scream out like racial slurs or something at you to try and hurt you. And then you calling them a baby somehow hits even harder than them. You know what I mean? Versus any other thing you say.
You ever called them a baby and reverse the slur that they just called you?
Like say it back to them?
A baby.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be
I like
fun.
that you cued me up to be like, "A baby, you say it." You put
No,
that on record.
No, we just know. You know where I'm going with it. Yeah. I think that'd be fun. Like hypothetically, that's a funny thing to do. Obviously, we're not going to do it, but it's just a thing. Like somebody calls you racial slur, like, "I think you're a baby."
Yeah, you're a littler one.
Yeah. You just stay in the pocket with that.
That would be fun. Yeah, dude, it's great. Video games are so fun. The fact that you can Twitch now and people are like into that, and like people are into watching video, because if you think about it, Twitch streams is just, especially when comics do it, it's just a video podcast where where they're doing another activity at the same time. No,
that's why when I was doing it more during the pandemic, I enjoyed it, catching up with friends and stuff, and then just recording it and throwing it out there because it was a way for me to catch up with people and like,
we played
do something.
Before.
Yeah. We actually need to play soon again.
Buddy, I'm always on there.
Yeah?
I love it.
What's your game right now?
Call of Duty is our main one, just because all the people I play with that go on it. But I've been playing this horror game called At Dead of Night, where you like are stuck in a hotel and you have no weapons, and there's a psycho, like from the movie Psycho-esque, like cross-dressing psychopath who's running around with an axe and hides behind corners. And it's not like animated, it's filmed, so it's like real. It's like a real guy, and you'll just, and when you press forward on the stick, you can't like nudge up. You go like once you commit, it pushes you like 10 feet forward, so you'll turn a corner and then he'll be there going, and then and then I made a jump scare compilation because and I'm not a guy who gets like scared easily, but
Sagalo freaks out.
Oh, Sagalo has
really
full
goes
heart
for it.
attacks. He's going to die from being scared, most likely by my hands. But it's so fun because he gets equally as scared. If you just you can scare him, wait 2 seconds, and then go ha again, and he equally. It's a cartoonish overreaction, and it's my favorite.
I really like the relationship that you, Cannon, and Sagalo have on your podcast. I love all the clips that you post on Instagram and stuff like that. Like it's just you guys just like getting in on each other and just like kind of roasting each other.
And when we used to do Irish Goodbye with Mike and I, and Brendan would come on, it would be very much like Mike and I versus, But now here's a scenario. A lot of it literally morphs second to second, where it'll be like Mike and I versus Brendan, and then it'll be Mike and Brendan versus me, and then Brendan and I versus Mike. Like there's no loyalty. We are constantly changing allegiances.
Yeah, I like how like you're all clearly very good friends, but you're constantly throwing each other under the bus.
Yeah. Oh, at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
It's very fun. But that's what keeps it interesting, is that's our like true relationship, is just constantly busting balls.
How long have you known Mike Cannon and Brendan Sagalow?
It's funny you say that, because Cannon I've known for a while now. Cannon's probably like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years. Sagalow, I remember Sagalow wasn't even at my wedding, so I didn't even know him then, and that was 2015. So it must have been like 2016 or 2015.
Isn't that weird? Like certain people in your life, you feel like they've been around forever, but then you look back at certain milestones, and you're like, wait, I didn't even really know them.
No. And you know what's funny? Him and I both can't remember how we met, and I think how it happened was, you know how it is with comedy, where we are constantly seeing a lot of meeting a lot of people. And so you don't, the worst thing they always say in this industry to ever say is like, nice to meet you, because you could offend somebody if you've met them 6 times before and then you're an asshole. So I think him and I just did a thing where we were like, oh, what's up, dude? Good to see you, even though we hadn't met. And then slowly we learned each other's names, third party, and then I don't know. And then the rest is history, as they say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get Cannon on this podcast. When I did Irish Goodbye, he said something that kind of stuck with me. He goes, I feel like, he said something like, I feel like we could have been closer, but like I messed it up or something. And I was like, no, I like you, dude. I think you're very funny.
Yeah. I think he's coming out here in a month or so. So
okay, we'll have to make that happen then. Yeah.
That's great though, dude. Yeah, it's been this LA, I was expecting a full war zone in Los Angeles. And granted, I haven't gone like deep down Hollywood yet.
War zone as far as what?
Like the homeless and like post-COVID. Like I expected it to be, everyone painted it like it was going to be, World War Z, like zombies coming up to the windows and stuff. But
no,
as long as you stay in, just the Comedy Store or Beverly Hills, it's pretty nice out here.
As long as we're in our own little, divided sections. Bubble. And then, I don't see what the problem is with like LA and the gas prices and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm taking Ubers, it's fine. It's whatever. But boy, oh boy, it is still a beautiful city. I will say.
Dude. Yeah, absolutely. You did stand up on the spot last night and crushed it.
So fun, man.
Dude, it was good to have you back. And we'll be working on that, and hopefully that'll be out in the next couple months for you guys to check out on this YouTube page. But yeah, I always love having you on that show. You're one of those people who, when you're thrown something, there's never like a bunch of downtime. You like have an opinion on it, and I love that. You're ready to rant.
That's better for better or worse, where I'm like someone just yells out something and I just start talking. It's like the Michael Scott thing. It's like sometimes I start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going, where you just go, I'm coming in hot with an opinion that I'm also figuring it out as I'm saying it.
Yeah.
For some, crowd work is a real muscle that, coming up in New York comedy, just a lot of the shows that I did, a lot of these like bar shows, it's just people, weren't expecting to come to a comedy show. They're barked in. And so you have to keep them engaged. And that is really, I owe a lot of that, that muscle worked out towards that, because that was so much, and it's so much fun to do good crowd work and something like that too. Your show where they're ready for it and they're expecting like to be able to be a part of it is so fun, because then there's no like pressure to be like, get to a joke right now. You're like, let me find something fun. And every time I think I got a new bit out of last night too.
Heck yeah.
And whoever that guy was who decided to yell out the New York City subway system on the day of a terrorist attack, just to really, I feel like I climbed out of it okay, but it was
good.
It was a real like, all right, you son of a bitch, let's see if I can try and make this.
Those are sometimes the best, is like, how do I make something that's not really funny right now funny? Like those are the, like, I love comics who are able to do that, like Bill Burr, where the premise is problematic, where they just lay it out.
Yeah.
And then like literally the digging starts as soon as like the first line is said. I'm like, ooh, how's this gonna end?
So much fun though. Yeah, it was such a great show. And that show, it feels like, I don't know what's the biggest room you ever do those in, but it feels like something, I don't know, I feel like doing it in the belly room lends to the magic of that show, versus if you did it in like the main room of the store, or maybe like,
I'm very curious to try it in the main room, just because we've never done it in there.
Yeah. I'm sure it would still work.
We did it in Austin in a room that was pretty huge. It ended up having like probably 250 people in there, and it went pretty far back, and there's standing room only where people are standing in the back, and that worked out. You just have to ask a little bit like more clearly, like what, like, you know, like, because if people are really yelling suggestions, it gets a little crazy.
Of course.
So you just have to be a little bit more selective. Like, hey, what did YouTube people say right here? And like, just like be a little bit more focused.
That fun moment though yesterday when there was just one person suggesting things and you were like, okay, but also other people can say stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's such a fun thing. And then there was one woman who just kept wanting to say Jell-O, and then no one listened to it the entire time.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
Such a fun thing.
Our next one comes out on Monday, April 25th.
Wow.
On this channel with myself, Annie Letterman, Ryan Sickler, and Eric Griffin. So tune in to that Monday, April 25th here on the show.
Strong lineup.
Yeah.
Strong lineup.
Do you have anything? We'll do. Let's do a couple plugs right here in the middle. That way we'll just end clean the podcast clean. Do you have anything coming up show wise or anything that you?
When does this release?
It's on Monday, baby. So.
Okay, great. Well, if you're listening to this in Pennsylvania, I'll be at Soul Joel's April 22nd, which is this Friday. Otherwise, I'm in the city a ton in the next couple months. So MikeFeeneyComedy.com. I am Mike Feeney across all social media. Got my comedy special Rage Against the Routine you could always watch on my YouTube, and twitch.tv/NYFreshmaker. I play with a bunch of comics. I've been playing with Louis J. Gomez, Brendan Sagalow, Shuli Edgar. It's a great Tim Butterly. It's just fun, dude. Just comics talking shit, getting kills, and we're not half bad too, which is the other fun part.
You've gotten good.
Yeah, I think I'm like pretty good at Warzone.
That's what happened with Eric Griffin. He got really good at Warzone.
Yeah.
He just kept playing and kept slogging hours, and he still streams all the time. And now he's like a Twitch like partner or something like that. That like where he makes pretty good money on Twitch.
People are constantly coming into my stream asking me to stream with him, and I'm like, I haven't met him, so I'm like,
maybe I can connect you guys.
But I was like, yeah, I would love to stream with him.
Yeah, I'll try to connect you guys because he's always looking for like good comics to play with and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so that could be fun. Yeah.
Boom! Look at that. Jeremiah just building bridges,
trying to connect the cities of LA and New York.
Yeah, I'm
excited to go out there next month. It'll be a good time. Are you doing Skankfest Vegas?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
That might be the one that someone finally dies. It's gonna be too much Vegas.
Too debaucherous.
Like, Vegas I'm like worried of how long I'm gonna be in Vegas for, because it's like a Thursday to a Monday.
It's a little, yeah. I always what I've been doing is the kickoff night. I usually go the day after. That's enough for me. You know what I mean? The last couple days, I'm like, that's good for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know why I'm like. Because here's the thing, the best part about Skankfest is not even the shows, it's the hang, like for us anyway.
Yeah, getting to see everybody.
I can't wait to be off stage to go back to hanging, like you get there and you're like, cool, but now let me go. But
I always turn down hosting shows, but they had me host. It was such a good lineup. I'm like, I'm not going to make a stink about this. Do you know what I mean? Like the lineup, I was like, it's cool that I'm even hosting this show. It was like an outside tent show with like tons of, I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah, I did.
It was like Stanhope popped in and Eddie Pepitone. It was like Lewis and Dave Smith. It was just like a really good lineup. It was fun.
Yeah, that outdoor venue was actually pretty cool. I did a show where it was Sunday, and this is exactly like Skankfest in a nutshell. Is like, you have your schedule of shows, but you get added on to a bunch of shows. So your schedule ends up filling up. And it was Sunday. I didn't have anything till 10 p.m. And I go, it was noon, and people, comics were like, oh, we're smoking weed. Do you want to smoke? And I'm like, yeah, I got nothing for 10 hours. Why not? And like the second the joint finishes, one of the women in a yellow shirt runs up to me. She's like, do you want to go on stage? You're going to go on the show? Like, you got to go up next, which I don't. Yeah, dude, that's
Wait, I just took a huge hit. Can you give me a second or what? I don't feel so good.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Give me like 3 more minutes, please. Is there a seltzer around I could get? I'm feeling parched for some reason. I don't know what I just smoked.
Welcome to Shank Burger, home of the Shank Burger. Can I take your order? Just kidding. I ain't no bitch. I ain't no working no fast food. I'm a fighter pilot. Or am I a boy band? I don't know. Jeremiah Wonders is brought to you by Upstart. If you dread looking at your credit card statements, your boy is here for you because your ass is not alone. Debt can feel crippling, but Upstart can help you on your path to financial freedom, homie. Upstart is the fastest and easy way to get a personal loan to pay off all your debt all online. And I got racks and racks of debt, and Upstart be helping me for days with that. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people use Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. I like that. It's stress relieving, you know. Upstart knows you more than just your credit score, so you know, rather than you looking at your credit score alone, Upstart's model considers other factors like income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find you a smarter rate for your loan, because sometimes like these companies don't be truthful. You can check your rate without your impacting your credit score in just 5 minutes for loans between $1,000 and $50,000. Sometimes I just check it for the hell of it. You can even receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payment today when you go to upstart.com/Jeremiah. That's the homie right there. Don't forget to use Shanks Earl to let them know I sent you. That's upstart.com/Jeremiah. Here's the fine print. Loan amounts will be determined based on the credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/Jeremiah. Now let's get back into this tasty ass episode of Jeremiah Wonders with Mike Feeney. And be sure to check out that new Stand Up on the Spot special dropping on that ass this Monday, April 25th. Love y'all.
Yeah, and that's the other thing at Skankfest too. You're like, there might be, I don't know what was in that, but so I go to the show. It was that outdoor venue, and the lineup was Bobby Kelly, then Kurt Metzger, then me, then Eddie Pepitone. And so it was like there was a noticeable like crowd excited drop off from them to me, because they're all like they're some of their favorite guys.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, buddy, those first 2 minutes were pretty tough. We're to the point where I had a moment where I almost was just going to put the mic back in the stand and go, you know what? I'm all set. Thank you, though. And I was going to, like, leave. I, like, looked over at one point, and Bobby Kelly was looking at me like, good luck. Like, he'd give you that face of, like,
yeah,
better pull this out. And thankfully, I didn't leave. And it ended up being, by the end of the set, they were fantastic for me. But those first 2 minutes, I just came in too hot, too high, and was just trying to address it. And people were doing that thing where they go, what?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? What
yeah,
is
we're good. What are you talking about? We're
You're
good right now.
stoned? It's 12 p.m. And I'm like, guy. I guess the worst. But it was a really fun show. But that's Skankfest in a nutshell.
Did you get any chances to work with Gilbert Gottfried?
I did.
Yeah.
I've worked with him a couple it was so weird. I got booked on 2 separate road gigs with him a week apart from 2 different bookers, which was crazy. And I had never met him before, and it was so strange. And the first one that we did, I just met him there at the venue and did the show. But then the week after, I drove him. I picked him up. So I picked him up at his apartment, and like, I don't know how well, if at all, you knew him, but his personality is like, he was the quietest, sheepish.
Night and day difference
on stage. Like, literally barely spoke until I would speak to him, and then I'd be like, so-and-so says hi because Bobby Kelly says hi, and he just goes, oh, that's great. I like him. Tell him I said hi. Like, just literally, like, you feel like you're visiting. I felt like I was visiting, like, my grandfather in a nursing home or something, where I was like, hey, pal. And, but he was such a sweet guy. And, I was just trying to, in a 3-hour drive or something. So,
of course, you're trying to keep some kind of conversation going.
Yeah. And there was a lot of long pauses without speaking. But then the show came, and like he had problems walking and stuff, so he couldn't to go up to the steps of this little theater that we did. And of course he goes up and just annihilates the crowd and stuff. And then he gets off stage, and we're about to drive back, and and the bathroom was you'd have to go out of the theater all the way to the front where everybody was, then downstairs, and then come back up. So we just go outside. I have the car idling. He just goes in front of a dumpster, just pisses outside, which is great. And he's like holding like a wine bottle in his hand, like a half bottle of wine. He's holding a half bottle of wine in his hand, gets done pissing, gets into my car, opens up the red wine bottle, and like legitimately is just not like drinking it fast. I'm talking opened it and was drinking, like did not let it come down until he finished the entire bottle, dude. And it didn't even look like he was necessarily enjoying drinking it. Like it just chugging the whole bottle of red wine.
That's his post-show routine?
I guess so. And he was very fun on that ride home compared to on the way up.
He
loosened up. It was very fun. He was a very nice guy, and so sad to hear, but that he passed, especially because he's got kids and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
His wife was she is a very sweet woman. Every time I saw her, she's awesome. And yeah, I've got a couple really good memories involving Gilbert where I had the chance to work with him a little bit here and there. He played Hitler on the historical roast that we did on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's like that's literally like Jeff Ross said. He goes, if we're gonna have anybody play Hitler, the only person who can get away with it is Gilbert.
Right.
He's the most Jewish person. And he, like, you know what I mean? Like the most obnoxious version, the person that Hitler would hate and despise the most to play him.
For sure.
So it was so funny. Him as this little, you know what I mean? With like the khaki shorts and everything.
Yeah.
And he was just destroying as Hitler, like for those tapings. And it was just one of those things, like as soon as you just saw him, you're like, oh, this is like so freaking funny.
He's so good on those roasts too, man. He's just so uniquely himself.
He really knows. Talk about a guy, like I think this is something as comics that we all strive for. We are all striving to really nail and know our comedic voice.
Oh yeah.
And that guy just lived in his comedic voice. You know what I mean? On stage, like he knew exactly how to play it like a harp, like a fine instrument. Like he knew exactly when to, really tweak things up and rev it up and stuff like that. It was awesome. He's just such a big personality when he's on stage. It's so funny to see the ovations he would get too. Yeah. You know what's funny too? After the show, he would like sell, he would sell like autograph, like headshots or something with autographs. But the majority of the things that he sold was a 8x10 of the parrot from Aladdin. Like he would sell like just a still picture of the parrot, and he would sign the parrot. But it was like people were like, can I get the parrot? Like there was pictures of Gilbert, there's pictures like of all the things, and everyone bought the parrot signed by Gilbert Gottfried. And you're like, that's such a hilarious thing to be like, I want parrot, not like people like, do you want to take a picture with Gilbert? He goes, no, the parrot's fine. Out of everything on the merch table, it's like no, that one,
the parrot guy, please. So
I mean,
fun.
iconic role. That's one thing. One of the funny mentioned the parrot, obviously. I mean, it's one of his huge roles that he did. But we did a Kill Tony at the Gramercy in New York City, and he was a surprise guest that Tony and Red Band told us was going. They gave us like a night in advance, and we had packed. We were doing a trip where we did, I think, somewhere like Poughkeepsie, and then we were coming down to New York, and we had 3 costumes planned for 3 different shows on 3 different nights. And we happened to randomly, Joel was going to be Aladdin, and I was going to be Robin Williams as the genie. In Blueface. Whoa. Just randomly. And then they're like, Gilbert Gottfried's going to be a guest. And we're like, you've got to be kidding. We had it packed for the weekend just randomly.
Perfect.
We were going to do it on a different night. And I was like, well, we're rotating the order. We got to do this with Gilbert.
Yeah.
So one of my best like memories I have of him is like us doing like Aladdin and the genie, and like as those characters, like doing different jokes and stuff, and him just like hitting the table and like laughing, like just to make that guy laugh. If it felt so good.
Yeah, he has a great laugh too, and then that little cackle he does too.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Now, are you worried about the blowback of doing Blueface?
You know what? It's one of those unfortunate things where the cameras died that night, and there's only audio of that.
Ah.
Yeah.
Isn't that convenient, huh?
Yeah.
Very lucky. Very lucky.
Interesting. Did somebody have some stuff scrubbed from the internet?
Yeah. It seems like somebody perhaps is worried that it won't age well. All the genies out there are going to be pissed.
All the James Cameron avatars are like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I cannot believe this right now.
What did you use to be blue?
It was a blue suit. Like a sky blue, like a Green Man, like that, like Lycra things or whatever. But it had the face cut out, and then I put on blue face on here so I could see out of it, and then I cut out the top so you could have the little ponytail, and I had these dumb rings, and then a scarlet sachet.
Yeah. Oh, that's very fun.
Yeah.
Your like wardrobe budget must have been. The amount of what do you throw it all out?
Do you see those bins?
These are all costumes.
That's some of them. There's
300, by the way, for the people at home.
We're in a warehouse for those people who don't know what the garage looks like. It's
Picture the end of Indiana Jones. You know what I mean? When they're doing the pushing down the long, and it's the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, you shot. You were shooting a lot of sketches for a while there. I mean, you probably started to feel like, oh man, this stuff is starting to pile up a bit.
I did feel that way, and I felt that way specifically because my wife was addressing it and how it was starting to. She was like, hey, because we don't have this nice little extra spot, New York City apartment closets fill up very fast. So so we would just some of the stuff we would try to do a thing where I would like use it for a sketch and then return it if I could sometimes, but then other times. We saved this World War II helmet looking thing because I was like, maybe I thought a fun idea might be to Twitch stream with like a war helmet on would be a fun bit. But then I realized I need my headphones on to hear everything, and they don't go over it. So now difficult. I just have a helmet sitting around, which is just for nothing.
Yeah, Joel was way better when we were doing Kiltony stuff about returning stuff. But if we did the character's recurring thing, he goes, I guess I'm going back to Party City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He'd
and
go
hoping
back and
they
use
still
it.
have it.
Yeah,
dude. I don't know, man. It's at some point it does feel very funny too when you have like wigs and all these props and everything, and it feels very much like a kid with their toys where you're like, this isn't my play. 'Cause especially when you talk to some, like my wife she gets it, but she also is like, you understand you have a selection of wigs and props in here, right? Like as if it's almost like a clown, you know what I mean?
Of course.
We're clowns.
I mean, yeah, that was one thing, like when I was traveling heavily with wigs and costumes, like where I was like filling up my suitcase and stuff, I was like, ooh, this is a weird feeling. Like I like doing the shows, but I'm like, this travel part sucks with like just having to get the stuff there.
They ever go through your bag at the airport while you got all the wigs and everything else? And they're like, what is this guy's
They would
secret?
go through Joel's stuff occasionally, and he used to travel with a purple dildo.
That's fun.
And so they would, pull that out every once in a while. And they're like, okay.
Did he do that to mess with airport security?
No,
or that was
it became a thing
pleasure?
on the show where he would wear it like as part of it was like a weird trophy thing when he would do those drum offs and stuff like that. Yeah, it was like an odd thing.
Fun.
Yeah. Speaking of wigs and stuff, why don't we get into this next segment called Wig?
Wig. We're here with our assistant there, Shelly, who's coming on the air,
Hey, it's Shelly with traffic, and things are stuck. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Shelly. Always coming in with your sexually suggestive traffic updates. And here we are. We're going all over the road. We're going to have a fun time. And if you're listening to this, you know what it is. We are the #1 morning radio show this side of Timbuktu.
Let's talk about our favorite music.
Our favorite music.
Our favorite music.
Well, you know me. I'm not one to toot my own horn. I do love Prince. I do love Elton John. #1. It needs to definitely be sound effects of it.
I'm Shelly on sound effects.
just voice sound effects.
Yeah. We are too low budget to get actual sound effects, so it's me, Shelly, on sound effects. This is an NPR ran station. Our budget is very low, and I'm crying for some reason right now because I have a woman with a dark past, but we can't get into that on nationally syndicated radio.
Shelly, I think this is a good time to bring up that dark past. You've been teasing that for a few years now, and I'm a little bit worried. Dark past.
Yes. I've had a dark past for a while. I got in a fight with a bear recently in a parking lot.
Whoa, look out. Are we talking about a grizzly or a gay man?
It was a gay man. You got it. He was a big gay guy.
I'm gay.
Where did that sorry, I just accidentally hit the I'm gay sound effect button. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, sometimes there's just like I have inner thoughts that are random sound bites on this soundboard. But anyway, so yeah, I fought a man in a parking lot. He punched out the window of a Honda Civic.
Whoa!
I glued the shards of glass to my knuckles, and then we got in a street brawl in the grocery store.
Little Shelly Wolverine action coming at you.
Yeah, so that's one of the things from my dark past.
Shelly, you're a wild one. Just again, everybody paying attention right now. Thank you for listening to WKAB. KAB is a actual. We sell keys here, in addition to being on the radio. But Shelly, you've been with me for 15 years. I've never heard this story, which is very impressive. And it's not the first time you fought a man, if I'm correct.
Yes, I fought you at your wedding.
Yeah, well, I wanted to set you up for that quite nicely. You did ruin the service, but made it a memorable one nonetheless.
Well, I just had to say to your wife-to-be, whoever thinks that they are the better woman will defeat me today for your love.
It was a little strange you wore a white dress, too. Not really common practice coming to a wedding.
I did not know that your wife-to-be was classically trained in Taekwondo and also an MMA brown belt.
State champion.
So she rocked my biscuits, and I put me into a coma for 3 weeks after the wedding.
Shelly, you walk into the cage, you're going to get hit. That's what we say in my house.
Have you ever been hit by your wife?
Just once, and I don't remember it, but she told me I've learned from it, and I guess I have. That's what happens if you don't unload the dishwasher, folks. Hey, now! That's the sound of my confidence and balls gurgling down the drain.
You're listening to Babito and Shelly in the mornings.
That's me, Rick Babito, classic.
Rick Babito on Q. What was that station again?
We all know it. Say it out loud.
Q105.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, Babito and Shelly in the mornings.
I'm having fun.
Yeah. Sorry. That's another one of those inner thought sound bites that's happening.
A lot of people want us to play music on this station, but
yeah, I asked you 7 minutes ago, what was your favorite kind of music?
I'm a fan of the hits. Obviously, as you know, this is a classic rock station, so I'm not opposed to Elton John or Prince or Billy Joel. But really, for my money, pound for pound, it doesn't get much better than Rick Astley. He is really, I think, far and above. He doesn't get enough credit.
Well, can you name 2 other songs other than Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley?
Is this a test?
Yes, it is.
Well, he has 2 other songs that sound surprisingly like Never Gonna Give You Up. Now, the names of them escape me at the moment, but that's not. You don't need another. If you have Never Gonna Give You Up, what other?
Babito has been stumped.
That's a very specific drop you have ready there.
That was a specific drop. It's been recorded for a while, but I got to use it for the first time today.
Yeah, dust it off the old Babito's wrong button. But I do think that if you have such a classic, timeless hit like Never Gonna Give You Up, that you don't really need any other songs. Is that me freaking out? The time button? Oh. taking up too much time.
Time's up. I've been molested on this show. Whoops.
Whoa,
Babito went too far on a Friday morning.
We thought, Babito, we promised we'd keep that a secret.
He thought he was going to keep a secreto, but he didn't.
Shelly and Babito.
In the morning.
Babito, I paid you a handsome fee to never talk about that.
So sorry. Anyway, that just escaped me. Do I have any music I like? I do, but sometimes people don't ask me anything because I'm Shelly.
That's my fault. What's your favorite kind of music you could listen to? If you could listen to anything in the world, what would it be?
Have you listened to the Black Swan soundtrack?
I've watched the movie that has music playing, but no.
The soundtrack is so much better.
Oh, okay. Why don't you break it down for us track by track?
It's really good. There's that one that's like Natalie Portman's dance, like this like track number 3.
Okay.
It's really good.
It's more of a classical music kind of a vibe?
I'm crying right now.
Oh, you are crying?
I'm crying, okay? Listen, you've offended me, okay? You brought up trauma. And I don't know why I'm unboxing it on today's episode, but I do have to give an update on weather. The weather is 73 degrees outside, and it's a breeze, crisp day in the San Fernando Valley. Back to you, Babito.
What was the... Shelly fighting back vomit and tears, talking about...
I'm in a bad place right now. I don't really know.
Shelly, be honest, have you been drinking?
I might have drank a little bit.
Shelly, why are you crying?
Fetal alcohol syndrome.
I see actual tears streaming down your face.
Yeah.
Curious as to what is triggering these tears.
Well, you know what's really upsetting is when your wife almost beat me to a bloody pulp in front of all your friends and family.
Right. Well, you did try and ruin the wedding now. Don't forget about that. You did scream during the reception. If anybody has any objections, and you screamed, I do. I'm Shelly. I'm Shelly.
Because I always just listen to Nike ads when I'm in a moment of wondering what I should do.
Okay.
And I just heard Michael Jordan say, just do it. And so I stood up and I yelled, she's not worthy. She's a coke whore from the Taliban.
Yeah.
And
she got converted.
Yes, converted. 72.
No longer a threat.
So, when I approached the bench, I did treat her like a judge. When I went to the altar, I said, may I approach the bench? And she said, B word, we're on the radio, can't say swear words. She said, get out of my life and get out of my wedding. I can't believe that my husband has been with a no good nothing, do good nothing wrench of a person that just really messes up his morning radio show every day. And I wish his co-host was a man.
And yeah, furthermore to that, a lot of people have asked, why haven't you gotten rid of Shelly? Why haven't you gotten rid of Shelly? And I think I just want to address this once and for all. It's because of the ongoing lawsuit, and we're worried about the sexual harassment blowback and the possible lawsuit from said earlier molestation. So we keep you on. And
touchy vibes.
Yeah, we're kind of obligated to keep you on, to kind of keep you quiet. But at the same time, I do think, Shelly, you do bring a unique voice that people want to hear. It's the women's perspective, the spinster, constantly alone, multiple cats in your house. I've been over there once, and the smell, my God, you could smell it from here.
You don't want to say that I'm a cat lady, but meow.
Meow.
Meow goes the dog.
Sorry, I've been drinking and I'm on Ambien right now. So things are a little loopy on the morning.
It's interesting because I offered you that out during the wedding. I go, everybody relax. She's on Ambien. She'll be back asleep. And you specifically said, no, I'm not on Ambien. I just want her out.
Yeah. Sometimes when I get a text on my phone that's like, eep, eep, eep,
weird text tone,
where it's like people think it's an Amber Alert. It's actually just an Ambien alert, and it's an alarm for me to take more Ambien because I have problems.
Why do you have problems sleeping? And we promise we'll get to the music very soon, folks. Shelly is falling asleep on national.
I'm just kidding. That was a soundboard, dummy.
We're on the
radio
right now.
Shelly gets us
again.
Just you've been duped.
Duped by the Shelster. Dump. I need to poop.
Shelly,
Sorry.
we really got to go over your soundboard in the pre-production meeting next time.
My soundboard is all out of whack today. I don't know what's going on with it. But anyway, I have a full beard. Things are going hard in my life right now.
Shelly, when's the last time you ever been in love?
Oh, well, I did see a boy at a lemonade stand, and then I realized he wasn't of age. And I said, stop it, Shelly. Stop going back for lemonade. You've already had 6 refills for 60 cents, okay? Stop it.
Whoa, Shelly doing a little bit of molesting of her own, it seems.
No, I just molested with my eyes.
Oh.
And he was a Dominican child in San Petito. It's a little village outside of San Dubois in Tejas, outside of the border of Mexico. And it was a very strange turn of events. I thought it was a full-grown man. He had a mustache. Turns out, 10-year-old. Mm-hmm. Dominicans sometimes develop a little bit quicker than American boys. Mm-hmm. I asked him his name. He told me. And I said, wow, you look like a hunk. And then
what was his name?
His name was Shard.
Shard.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting name. Not what I've ever heard of the Dominican variety. What do you think Shard translates to? Oh.
Yeah, it translates to,
I've got indigestion. Indigestion is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol on Q105. Do you have indigestion? Then get Pepto-Bismol on Q105.
sorry, we had to play one of our ad
We
reads.
do have to shoehorn in some of these sponsors here.
It is very true.
So you fell in love with the boy at a lemonade stand. It was not to be because, of course, he was a child, and the love didn't work out. Now, are you keeping in touch with Shard?
Touch.
Yeah. Are you keeping in touch with him? Are you hoping maybe you'll kind of groom him until he becomes of legal age?
Whoa, I ain't no groomer, boomers.
Okay.
That's not happening with me. Once I knew, I fled the scene of the crime. I laid him down on the ground, and I traced a chalk outline around him, and I said, "You're dead to me."
Wow.
Yeah.
Very dramatic, Shelly.
Yeah,
I didn't know you to be so dramatic.
Oh, you don't think I'm dramatic?
No. Well, I mean, outside of the wedding and everything else you've ever said, I tried to just keep you on my good side, Shelly.
Okay.
I'm truly worried you're going to stab me in my sleep someday.
No, not at all.
Because I did, and Shelly, now, I would love for you to be honest here in this moment. I did have a moment.
Here comes honest train, choo 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 choo. Here comes honest train, choo choo.
Okay, go ahead.
I do want to go over those drops in the pre-production meeting, but I have something very uncomfortable I'd like to bring up with you. And again, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
Here
I would
comes
love
the uncomfort.
your honesty. I did hear someone it sounded like, if I'm not mistaken, inside my room with my wife and I last night, breathing coming from the closet, and it didn't sound like a quiet breathing. It sounded like a labored, almost in a way to, very similar to that. Were you in my bedroom?
I wasn't in your bedroom, but I did plant a speaker. It was a Bluetooth speaker. I planted just on loop. If you've ever heard the 50 Cent song, In the Club.
Yeah, that's a real banger.
I played that soundbite on loop. 1, turn on the 3 to the 4 to the 5. You know that song?
Right.
But
Not In the Club, but a different one.
Which one was that then?
That's the...
getting frisky. Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
That's also not 50
In the
Cent.
club. That's not 50 Cent?
You're thinking of Find Me in the Club, Bottle of Bub, I've Got What You Need.
No. This is another...
Everybody in the club getting tipsy is Chingy.
No. Actually, Chingy sung Right There and
Right
Holiday
There.
Inn. But
Who
this
said...
song... Who
sang...
Everybody in the club getting tipsy. It's not 50 Cent. You are right. It's another...
Very correct.
It's another guy. Ooh, that's just going to rub my bark. Anyway, this concludes our music segment on the show.
Now you know why we don't play anything. We're very out of the loop.
We're very behind on our rock block that's coming at you very soon. Thank you so much for joining Shelly and
Babito in the mornings.
In
you
the
know us.
mornings.
Drive time radio. The highways are a mess out there.
Drive while you're still alive.
And remember, don't rub anybody's bark. That's insane, dude. If someone wrote down the whole storyline of everything that just happened, I mean, it would read like a fever dream.
Absolutely. And I hope that whoever's watching or listening to this experienced a fun fever dream that Mike and I just had.
Yeah.
I hope you experienced that and had fun with us along the way and that you're still with us.
Yeah, the plus 15s that might have been tapped on the, when you can skip for 15 seconds at a time on the thing.
I mean, it just looks so crazy. Like me crying all of a sudden.
Yeah, what was the actual tears? Are you one of those guys that you tear when you yawn?
No.
You just conjured up actual tears?
I conjured up some tears.
You're able to do that?
Yeah, when I'm dialed in, I can do it.
Wow.
But I was getting in a slap happy mode, and I was like, I could feel them dormant, and I was like, oh, I can release them now.
That was wild.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I could never do when I took acting classes. They were like I could go to happy, I could do rage, I could do comedy. But then when they were like, the teacher was like, I want to get you to cry. It's like, I know that's what you need to work on. And I did some scene where it got to like, I felt my face being hot, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it felt like there weren't actual tears, but it did feel like that I could maybe get there. And then I don't know, I caught myself kind of peeking up and just seeing the rest of the actors in the class just watching me. And I'm like, oh, this sucks.
It took you out of it,
I hate this. This sucks.
It was a good exercise for me, but one of the hardest acting classes that I've ever done was during the pandemic through freaking Zoom, man. It was so hard. Yeah. Because to do the scenes for people who are not even in person.
No. The delay, too.
So you're doing your scene with a partner who's not even with you. So like if you can do that, like I worked on some scenes really hard and felt good about them, but dude, it was such a challenge.
Sure, I would imagine.
Just like just the connection, the lack of connection, literally being away
Shelly
from
and
somebody.
Babito are not happening over Zoom. That's not going to work.
Dude, do you know how clunky and how hard that would have been if we tried to do like, I feel bad. I still feel bad. There's a couple of New York comics where they did my podcast for the first time over the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I just kind of regret it when I'm like, I should have just waited, dude. I should have waited to do it in person because now that's like, ugh.
You think you scarred him?
A little. A little. There's a couple of them that I respect that I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I wish it would have been the real experience.
Yeah.
Come on, the fever dream
this
that
is what
it
you
is. This is
need,
the good stuff right here.
Being able to use the voice box. I mean, everything's going well.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm literally using voices on my end, and they're like, haha, yeah. You know what I mean? I'm hitting different stuff. I'm like, isn't it funny?
They're like, yeah, I don't have that.
I don't know. LA comics are way different than us.
Yeah. Damn, dude. Yeah, I mean, you got a great setup though. This is very fun. Yeah, enjoy this. Your authentic wood paneling back here too, and everything.
It's very, it has a little bit of mildew, so it's curling up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
all right, man. It adds to the character.
Yeah, of course. I want to get into this. I think this final segment that you've done before one other time, and it is called Sax Talk. Oh, Sax Talk.
I had just gotten my first car. It was a 1988 Buick Skyhawk, one of the classiest cars ever to be discontinued in the late 80s. And with that car comes sexual exploration and a lot of attention from women. There was a girl in my neighborhood that I was interested in, and then when I got a car, all of a sudden, wouldn't you know it, she was interested in me. So we started to talk to one another. We would occasionally make out, but our relationship essentially consisted of me driving to her house, picking her up, driving a block away, and then we would just park and start making out. There was one time in particular I remember I had a great opening line. I said, I parked the car and I go, hey, should we climb into the back? Which is very fun because we could have gotten out, but we crawled over the center console into the back. And it was great. And we had, we didn't have sex, short of sex. We did have, we got to, I guess, second base, as the kids would call it. Some gentle, some nice cupping, some hands going in various places, down pants, in and around the area. Great time. Dropped her back off at her place. Went to talk to her again a couple weeks later. She broke it off. Wasn't no longer interested. Next time I saw her, she was dating a woman and is still dating a woman. And so I believe that my botched attempt at fingering was the last straight sexual encounter that she had before converting full time. Or maybe I helped push her in the direction that she always knew in her heart was true. And so maybe I'm actually a hero? So hey, out there, won't say your real name, but almost just did. You're welcome for showing you the light. And that's Sax Talk with Mike and Jeremiah. And I feel like I'm being queued up to say something else.
I just wanted to keep going for as long as
I would have kept panic talking.
There's something about that with sax in music where it feels like a rush cue. Like no,
like go.
Like it's kind of like, and I saw her there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you're gonna keep building,
and that's the end.
and you're like, no, but like we ended 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought about that because she was she was super cool too. But it is so funny, dude, to be like crawling into a backseat with the only thing I had to offer was a backseat to make out in. It was pretty cool though. You ever make out in the backseats of cars? And we could have made out in the front seat, but your backseat just feels better.
Yeah, just more room. I guess I really haven't. Yeah, because I really didn't start. You know, I'm very limited in my sexual experience. Like
Right.
Not now because you know, me and my wife, we've been out there. You know,
you get it.
We get it now.
You got a receipt that you have sex
Exactly.
with a kid, dude.
That's, the ultimate receipt on sex is, ha, your boy didn't pull out.
Yeah, I was gonna say we know we have facts to back up that you're not a virgin anymore. For me, there's no evidence of it.
Yeah.
I mean, this all could be a ruse. I could still be a virgin. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, I guess we'll find out one day on the next episode of Jeremiah Wonders. When we open, you having sex with your wife. It's like, what? What's happening?
I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming by. Always love seeing you, whether it's in LA or I'm in New York, whatever. So, I'll see you out there next month, and we'll keep hanging, my friend. And if you guys are in any areas where Mike Feeney is performing stand-up comedy, please go see him. You will not be disappointed. I always watch him. This is coming from a fellow comedian. I enjoy watching his sets, so I think you guys will enjoy very much. Love you, brother.
Very kind to you. Thank you, brother. Love you.